Someone just won $1 million from a YouTuber. As a guy who makes money videos on YouTube, I thought this is the perfect challenge. Let's try to take this money and make it so we never have to work another day in our lives. That is, in this video, I'm going to show you how the winner of the MrBeast $1 million challenge could take that money and retire today. Spoiler alert, it should be pretty obvious who's won the $1 million by now, but in case you don't yet know, Mark won the $1 million. He was given 24 hours to spend it. Now, it seems like these videos are being filmed outside of Cleveland, Ohio, so I did the first thing any logical person would do with 24 hours to spend $1 million outside of Cleveland, Ohio. I went looking for an apartment building and found this $380,000 4-unit building on Zillow. It's a 4,000 square foot building with 4 2-bedroom, 1-bath units. Now, I know nothing about this area, so naturally I scrolled down to the description and learned that this is one of Cleveland's hottest neighborhoods. I have no reason to doubt the listing agent, so I think this is a great buy. And since we're paying cash, we could probably get them down on their price a bit. But wait a minute, MrBeast said we have to deal with taxes. So let's be prudent and let's deal with taxes first. Now, while Mark won $1 million, he only walked away with about $850,000 due to game rules and promises. That leaves him with $850,000 of income, but that is not exactly what gets taxed. See, there are 2 parts to taxation. And remember, by the end of this video, the goal is that Mark is able to be financially free and retired with $850,000 in winnings. This is an uphill battle, but let's see if we can make it happen. Spoiler, we can. So here's the breakdown of the 2 ways Mark could spend his money. Number 1, on tax deductible expenses. These are basically things or dollars that he could spend without having to give any money to the government. So in other words, $1 spent on a tax-deductible expense is $1 spent. You could spend 1 for 1. The other type of expense is a non-deductible expense. This means Mark has to take his $1, give 40% of it to the government, and then he has 60 cents left to spend. So let's start at the top with tax-deductible expenses. Oh, and in case you didn't already know this, I'm just some dude on YouTube. I'm not a CPA. It's probably a good idea to talk to a CPA and run all this stuff by them. First things first, Mark is in the perfect situation right now to start a YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and spend $5,000 on YouTube-related equipment. We're gonna start filming on an iPhone 11 Pro, a lighting set, a gimbal, a computer like a Mac Pro, a MacBook Pro. Now let's add a little bit of American legitimacy and call it a corporation. It's gonna cost us about $2,500 to turn this business Mark now has into a corporation. Now, it's commonly said that you should always pay yourself first. And since Mark now owns a corporation, through some really basic tricks, Mark can put aside $56,000 into a retirement plan and not have to pay taxes on that $56,000 today. And he can do whatever he wants with that money, from picking stocks to index funds, whatever. We'll worry about that later though. The most important thing is that he's getting a tax break today because he's got a big tax bill coming. Now, Mark's still going to buy this 4-unit apartment building, but one of the cool things that comes with this is the ability to make tax-deductible repairs. Now, this is different from big things like replacing a roof, but if he went into each unit and spent $5,000 doing repairs, he'd be able to write that money off. Given that the place is built in 1903, this is probably reasonable. And honestly, I'd rather see him do repairs now than get blindsided by repairs later. Perfect. This now leaves us with $766,500 to spend. Now, unfortunately, it's time to pay taxes, which means 40% is going to the government, but it's actually not going to the government until April 15th, so Mark could park this money in a high-yield savings account for approximately 4 months, and he'd probably make an additional about $1,800 in interest doing nothing but leaving some money sitting around in a savings account. Now, not considering that $1,800, this leaves us with $459,900 to spend. Now, we've already set aside $350,000 of that for a 4-unit apartment building. The cool thing about this building is each unit is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and we already know it's in a hot area. Then I went off the most official rent analyzer on the internet, and it looks like 2-bedroom, 1-bath units rent for about $800 per month. If Mark decides to move into one of those 4 units, he'll be collecting $2,400 per month in rent. He can also spend a tax-deductible bit of money on my real estate investing and do-it-yourself property management course, so he can maximize his cash flow without having to deal with bad tenants. This will help him get great deals in the future too. And he could even use coupon code New Year MrBeast and get 28% off those courses linked below. So now we've got Mark in a place where he's set up his YouTube studio, he's funded his retirement, he's living for free, but he's gonna have some expenses that go along with his building. Those are gonna be things like property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. So let's go ahead and say of that $2,400 in rent he's getting, he's going to have about $1,400 left over each month as free cash flow. He's now left with $109,900, plus that $1,800 from savings, but we'll just leave that out for later. If he now took that entire sum of money and invested it into Carnival Cruise Line's stock, he would be getting paid a dividend of about 4% on his money, which means he's going to be taking home about $366 per month in extra cash flow doing nothing. This doesn't even consider the fact that Carnival Cruise Line stock can go up. I guess it could also go down, but he's getting the dividend, okay? Now, in order to see if Mark can be financially independent by investing his $850,000 the way I've outlined in this video, we have to be able to compare him to other people. So let's stack up what we've got so far and then see what I'm missing. So far, we have $1,400 per month from rents, cash flow. Then we have $366 per month from dividends. Now, without getting complicated, because Mark now owns a real estate building that can be depreciated and he can write off certain things subject to the standard deduction, blah, 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 blah. Basically, he's gonna be saving about an additional $210 per month in taxes compared to somebody who doesn't own real estate. He's also living for free. Other people don't usually own real estate or get dividends. They have to have a job to make that money. That means somebody else would have to make $2,776 per month just to match what Mark is now making doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. In other words, Mark makes the equivalent of $33,212 per year doing nothing. Now, to compare that to other people in Cleveland, Ohio, I looked up the median income for people in Cleveland, Ohio, and it comes in at just under $25,000 per year. That means while most people are working for just under $25,000 per year, Mark is literally doing nothing and is exceeding that by a value of $8,000 per year. But it's not just that. See, because Mark has invested, his investments are going to be making him money as well. Remember that $56,000 that he invested? If he put that into a total stock market index fund, and we use the historical return of 7.9%, Mark would be making an additional $4,500 per year. And by the time he's in his 60s, that account will have grown to a value of over $1.1 million. That's setting up a smart retirement. On top of that, the historical average appreciation rate for real estate is 3%, which means Mark's actually making an additional $10,500 per year in wealth by owning real estate. Now, Mark does also have the Carnival stock. Let's assume Carnival goes up by just, say, 2% per year, or around $2,000 worth. Now, if we actually compare Mark to other people, thanks to his cash flow, living for free, and his investments, somebody else wouldn't only have to make $33,212 to match what he's making doing nothing, they would have to make more. Because Mark's now making money from his real estate investment, from his retirement account investment, and from his Carnival stock investment, which actually puts the money he's generating at over twice the median income every single year in Cleveland, Ohio, because he made these decisions. So now let's just go ahead and throw aside all of the numbers and make this really simple. And let's look at some practical conclusions here. With one investment into his retirement account, Mark has set up his retirement account for a really nice and probable future, where his account should be worth over $1 million when he's in his 60s, doing nothing. He's also living for free every single month, and he's earning over $1,700 in cash flow doing virtually nothing. He's now got a corporation where he can write off certain business expenses under, like with his new YouTube business that he should be creating. Plus, he got an extra $1,800 leaving what's basically the government's money in a high-yield savings account for 4 months. But now, let's see what Mark actually did.
This, I can get that, no.
That was actually just a joke. I told him to do that. What we're actually gonna do is be responsible and try to set Mark up for his future. All right, Mark, it's time to check out. 1 PlayStation, 2 PlayStations. This is a luxury car. How much is this?
Mark, I'm sold.
So this car plus the other car is about $100,000 total, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Can you confirm that?
Yes, I did the math.
Okay. So you drove it for only a few minutes.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna get it.
Okay.
I know that you really wanted an Apple Watch, so I went out and bought you an Apple Watch. Yeah. I got you an iPad.
Never had one of these before.
Accidentally bought you a headset. What she wants, so
Okay.
I think I'm gonna get this one.
That's good.
Yeah.
So Mark dropped $20,000 on a ring.
Seriously.
Just for clarity, how much is this house? It's $165, right?
Yep.
Okay, which is perfectly in the budget.
Mark, you've only spent $36,000 so far.
Specifically $7.
Treat yourself.
An 82-inch TV.
I want the best refrigerator they got here. I want a talking refrigerator.
So to wrap up this Best Buy trip, it says $29,054. We'll just round up 30 grand. This is literally everything you'll need.
All right then, well, all I could say at this point is make sure you subscribe so that when you win your $1 million, you know how to spend it.